Hi everyone and welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. For today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make these beautiful macarons in a variety of colours with just 3 simple ingredients. It's never been so easy to make these. This is not my recipe, it is directly from Cake Cream and I'm going to be showing you just how simple it is. So let's make a start. You do not need a macaron mat to make macarons. Back to basics. Using some baking paper and a small round circle cutter, simply draw directly onto this. I create quite a few. For this tutorial we're going to make 3 different colours, but in total I actually made 6 batches because they are that quick and easy to make. The main ingredient that makes all of this work so easily is cake cream. So start by weighing out your different colours. I weigh out 125 gram of Purple Rain, 125 gram of Bubblegum Pink, and finally 125 gram of Burgundy. Obviously you want to keep these all separate in different bowls. For each batch you will need to measure out exactly 45 gram of water. It's best to use this using electric scales as you want your measurements to be precise. The final ingredient required is almond flour. Now I did try this recipe with ground almonds and it did not work as they were too coarse. You can find almond flour in many health food stores, but I would highly recommend going straight for this as it does work. You want to measure out and sieve exactly 100 gram of almond flour for each batch. When I say sieve almond flour, this is exactly what I mean. So I have a very fine sieve and it will just take out those thicker chunks of almonds that you don't want to be going into your macarons. Again, make sure it's bang on 100 gram, and again I am using some electric measuring scales. Now for the fun part, we can watch it all come together. So here I have added my Purple Rain that I measured out at the beginning directly to my mixer. To this I then add the 45 grams of water. I gently whisk this up using the whisk attachment just so all of that powdered sugar doesn't come flying out too easily. And then you want to beat this on a medium to high beat. It took my mixer exactly 10 minutes. You wanting to gain stiff peaks, and you want to repeat this with all of the colours that you're going to be using. I will show you what it should look like in a moment once it's fully beaten, but as you can see I repeated that process with the pink. As soon as you add the water, the colour is actually activated, so there is no colouring required. And here you can see that burgundy colour come together. I'm now going to show you what the stiff peaks need to look like, but just be aware that Cake Cream is shipped worldwide and it's also available in so many different colours. I've only covered a few here in this actual tutorial. So depending on the mixer that you have, after 6 to 10 minutes of beating, these are the stiff peaks that you're aiming to achieve for each of the colours that you are choosing to actually use. Now I'm adding the final ingredient, believe it or not. So I'm adding the almond flour, so that's 100 gram for each batch that you are making, and just fold this in very gently. So I add this to all of my colours, and the next step is going to be simply to pipe it out. Now obviously I've speeded all of this up just so that you can see how it looks. Look how just vibrant those colours are. Can you imagine doing that with food colouring? All the hard work has been taken out of this for you. Great for any cake decorators so that you can place them directly onto your cakes. They're an awful lot more cost effective, and remember you get 400 gram of cake cream per bag, and we're only using 125 gram for each batch, and it's also used for Swiss meringue. So as mentioned, Cake Cream is a Swiss Meringue Buttercream mix that can also be used for macarons, because I am going to be using some of this for the fillings later on. Just a little tip for you. If you place a piping bag into a glass and just wrap the edges over the outside, it's an awful lot easier to fill. I've got no piping tips. Remember what I mentioned, limited equipment, back to the basics. We're just going to cut off the end and pipe them out. Again, all speeded up for you. Now, I'm not the best at piping, so if I can do this, you guys are going to have absolutely no problem. You want to pipe about 1 centimetre away from the bottom. Just simply squeeze the piping bag, and then you just want to go round in a gentle circular motion. Now, I do neaten a few of these up a little bit. Again, I'm not great at piping, but you have seen the end results at the beginning of this tutorial. They taste absolutely delicious. If you end up with extra, which you most likely will, I would advise maybe don't make them if you're on a diet. I totally ruined mine. So once you finish piping these, you then want to place them on a baking tray. So I just slide them on into an oven at 135 degrees centigrade for exactly 18 minutes. Just look at these finished results. I was absolutely stunned with just how easy they were. So these have been baked for exactly 18 minutes at 135 degrees centigrade. I have left them for about 10 minutes to cool before I added them to the cooling rack. And then I'm just showing you the feet on there, and just look at those beautiful, vibrant colours. I wasn't expecting it to be this easy, because it does seem too good to be true. But you will find another tutorial on my channel where I have made them from scratch with the traditional method, and oh my god, it takes so long compared to using cake cream. I'm now going to show you the quick Swiss Meringue Buttercream that you can also make using cake cream, and then voila, your macarons are complete. So I'm just going to show you how to do this in one colour and simply repeat this for any others. So in this mixer I have 113 gram of butter, which I have already beaten just to make it that little bit easier. To this I then add 100 gram of cake cream, and I'm simply going to beat this until it's fully combined. If you place a tea towel over the top, it will help prevent the cake cream from just going everywhere. Just treat the ready-made Swiss Meringue Buttercream powder like icing sugar, so you would cover it just to protect it. Now it's time for the best part. This is where the colours come to life as soon as you add the water. Now when you're making the Swiss Meringue Buttercream, if you're making these particular proportions, you want to add 62 ml of warm water. Treat it like you would a cake batter. Pretend you're adding eggs to your flour and your butter that have mixed together, and you want to prevent it from curdling. The colour will gradually come out. Allow it to all mix together before you add a little bit more. It needs to be warm water, and then once it's all fully combined, beat on high for exactly 1 minute. It's really never been so easy to make Swiss Meringue Buttercream, has it? And just look at that beautiful colour again. This tastes absolutely delicious. I first used it with one of the frost forms. I used the magenta, and oh my god, absolutely delicious, beautiful colours, and so easy. Remember, if you have any Swiss Meringue Buttercream left over, it can be frozen, and it can also be kept in a fridge. You can only really keep it at room temperature for a few days, but macarons tend to be frozen anyway, just to lift the shelf life just a little bit. So I add this to a piping bag. Again, no nozzles. I'm just going to cut off the end, and then we're going to pipe and finish our macarons. Now, all I do for this is just squeeze out a really decent amount into each centre of each macaron. Pick the other one up and then gently push them together. Now, I'm no expert in macarons. I'm an expert in cake decorating. So with how easy these were to make, and with how expensive they are to buy, with the amount that you get in one pack of cake cream, and the amount that you'll get in one packet of almond flour. It is so cost effective. And if you've got any leftover cake cream because you already use it for your Swiss meringue buttercream, this is just something else that you can use it for. Happy baking, everyone. I really do hope I've helped you again today, and I will be back soon with more new, completely free content.